And we got six of us in the room here today, so it's just awesome to get more and more people that coming in here. And we miss those of you that are here. That we miss you when you're not here. There's an energy that we all have, when we come and we share things and we kind of get used to each other. That's what we would call that takuyapi or wo takuyapi. That feeling of family, that feeling of togetherness, and all that good stuff. So that's how I felt, anyways. The last few times, when we have somebody comes twice, three times, and then they're not here, you feel it. You feel it. And so I think majority of our people in our community now, we miss that feeling of takuyapi. And I've always said that maybe it's not always, perhaps not always your immediate family that you. Sometimes it's people that you could relate to, and people that you can connect to. And I know uh, Randall here goes play pool, just different things, and there's camaraderie, and I know there's the hunting bros with the. Okay. I remember they used to do card games back in the days. Kushi and them, they always used to woshkata, woshkate. They used to have that play kind of mentality, woshkate, to play. I know for me, I get real excited when it's snowing and like that because now we can probably the potential to flood an ice and make a rink for woshkate, for all throughout the year, and that kind of made me remember just there's a lot of good times you had just playing. And if I can, I'd like to just maybe share a little bit of a dream. It's not too much, but a while back ago, my uncle passed away, and I remember at that time I was having a whole bunch of hard times, difficult times, and I remember he was watching hockey in my dream. And I didn't realize he was watching hockey. I was so busy telling him all my problems, all what frustrated me. I was chania se. We talked about that word in the beginning. Chania. Chania se is kind of like I was complaining, whining around, feeling sorry for myself, all kinds of stuff like that. And talking about all the injustices in my life. And I remember talking to him, and he just looked at me and went, shh, shh, and then pointed. And then when I looked like that, I realized he was watching hockey. And so woshkate was something that I realized is just as important for me in my life because, man, you get so serious about everything, serious about things, and forget to enjoy your life. And so that's why I like to woshkate, uh, it's something that's so important for me. But anyway, so in saying that too, it's tonight on the way here. I wanted to just share a little bit of my own personal story and how I learned the language. In the beginning, when I would go to the ceremonies, the at that time, even in the 2000 late 90s, it was mostly Dakota. When you go hear ceremonies and such like that, a lot of the older guys there, they would talk mainly in Dakota. The Tachin brothers, just the different families, all in Dakota, and uh, I wanted to be able to pray in Dakota. I said, man, like that's the one thing I want to learn how to do is pray in Dakota, even just a few words here and there. Uh, but one thing that I did do was I learned. I started getting really interested in the Sundance songs. And I had the privilege of meeting some of our elders down in Pine Ridge that were more or less kind of like important people in our culture to maintaining our culture, keeping the Sundance songs going. When they were younger, their grandpas told them, you got to learn these songs for future generations. And so that's when they got older, we looked up to them, men like John around him and different people like that in South Dakota. So and then learning the songs up here, our grandpa songs. But in the process of that, that's how I learned the language. And so that's how tonight I thought I would put that foot forward. And so hopefully at home, maybe next time you guys go and hear a prayer or maybe hear Unka Ozzy praying somewhere, you'll start to identify those wochek wichoye, the prayer words. Uh, so that's what I'd like to share here today. And then also, it's snowing outside. Wahin he. We'd say snowing outside. Takad wahin he. Wana and sa changuki. The roads are slippery, different things, and so we're going to be kind of shortening up our class just a little bit here today because of the weather. So we'll talk a little bit about the weather as well, and so, but I'll write these down. These words here, and I'm gonna assume that we all have these understandings of Wakan. I just, if we can, I'd like to even just talk a little bit because we did say that the language has a connection to spirituality, culture, and so when we talk about these words like this, it's important to explain the deeper meanings about the spiritual. If so, so just a little bit, if I can. I've heard discussions around this word as anything that can give life and take life away. And they say the gun was good at doing that. It could take life and give life, so that's what they call maza wakan. And so that was an explanation that I was given. And so the horse, you could jump on a horse and it could buck you off, it could kick you, it could kill you. That it was real dangerous, the horse. And so it could take life away. But at the same time, it brought so much abundance because the men became good hunters with it, and there was more plentiful buffalo, more plentiful. So it was considered shunka wakan. Shunka wakan. It's a dog that can give life and take life away. But I think in a sense it's been Christianized and called holy or sacred or something along those lines. But at the same time, there is a feeling. We all understand there's a feeling of wakang, and not you have to experience that on your own to be able to understand that, to have a feeling of wakang. I think the only thing that there's something wakang for example, when you see us explain for my daughter when she was born, natural things she used to do that she seemed to know how to do without us teaching her. So one of them is when you tap the side of a baby's mouth like this, that baby will go like that. It says survival. And so I would consider that like something mysterious, something holy, something powerful, something wakan. That's a wakan thing. Or we might experience an event perhaps where a dream showed you something that you'd never realized before or something, and it's totally changed your life, and it's guiding you, and there's also a mystery behind it. There's a mystery feeling kind of behind it. And so that's what we would consider wakan. So sometimes I would even say the word for mysterious is also associated with this word wakan. So because when there's something sacred happens, it's like a mystery, like a perplexing, but it's a haunting feeling. It's a curious feeling. Oh my gosh, you could go deep, deep, deep into just this one word, wakan. The reason why I want to explain these words, because these words kind of are core in our culture. And I think one misinterpretation of that word can totally change our whole perspective, right? Because I think for me growing up, wakan was just something like God or just that. It's not nothing earthly or, it's only God that's, it's isolated to wakan when we think of it like this. And then so this understanding, so when you feel it in a very, very grand, big way, with just a life-changing, full of mystery, that I would even say there's associated, love is associated with it somehow, in a way, because there's a feeling of when you're at prayer, you're praying to this wakan. There's like a loving, caring, nurturing feeling that comes from it as well. Wakan, so it's, oh my gosh, you can get so philosophical. Usually what I would do like that is write a word like wakan and then write all all the different definitions it could mean. But really, it's a state of mind, right? Like it's a state. It's an understanding. It's when you go see Kushi early in the morning and she said, "Oh, I knew you were gonna be here, so I made you." So how did you know I was gonna be here? How'd you know that? But there's a feeling of wakan that comes like, she kind of spooks me out even. It's kind of scary too at the same time, but not like a bad scary, more like a respect scary, in a sense. So I don't want to just go ahead and just share this word and just move on. I kind of want to give at least a deeper explanation that I'm not going to isolate it and just say that this word means sacred, and that's it. That's it. It's wakan, it's holy or holy, it's holy, there's so much more to that word, and I don't ever want to use one word to isolate this into something, because it's so much. It means love, it means compassion. It's so much energy associated with just one word. I thought about the word before too. You know how we have sinew is kan, wakan. It's something that kind of binds everything together. I thought about that too. I think I would love to have like a philosophy class on some of these words, where we can just sit down because I'd imagine if I could, I would love to talk about this a whole class, this one word here, because it's kind of a word that shapes our whole spiritual understanding, right? And I think one misinterpretation can change a lot. And so we have this understanding of tanka, and for most of us, we all know what this word knew growing up. Even if you had toys, there was a tanka truck. Tanka is something that's large, right? Something that's big. The opposite of tanka, we would say jistina. Tanka, jistina. Tanka, jistina. That's real fun to do that, by the way, with those kind of words. The opposites. Osni, kata. Like hot, cold, right? We'll do a class like that. That'll be fun. Oh, by the way, some of you, I know we said that we were going to have family talk today, like on family relations, but we decided there's a few words there that we're not 100%. And we have to remember now, like in Sioux Valley, oh man, it's like all the English. It's all English now. And so I really respect the fact that it gets forgotten, some of these words. But I guarantee once we're all together here more often, and the more the language speakers speak, and usually what I like is when there's language speakers in the room, that's the time for me to be quiet as much as I can and listen and to really absorb in, because that's gold, for us, those of us that don't speak 100% and we're learning. Just to sit and listen to the language. I think too, by the way, I was thinking it'll be nice for guys like on my end to have an advanced class where it's just all elders and we just sit around and listen. Because how I learn is I just sit there and learn and take notes on the side. Before you know it, I'm 100% with you the next day. It doesn't take me long to learn at all, no more. It used to take me a long time to get to one point. I was saying that word henach. Oh my gosh, still henach, and I couldn't learn that word for a week. Took me a week just to remember that one word, henach. I was so frustrated. I was like, it's no wonder why nobody wants to learn language. It takes so much dedication. It takes so much, So I was literally walking around the house, henach, 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 trying to drill it into my head. Oh my gosh. And then I'd go back, how do you say that word again? I'd forget. Okay. And so I'd forget. And so, anyways, so I don't know where I'm just going all over. But I think it would be really nice if we could have more of like an advanced class, And I imagine our leaders must be listening right now. And they'll say, yep, well, let's sign the work. Let's get it going. Let's do the paperwork and get that program running now, because this is more of like of a mid, mid, because you had a beginner's class, and this is more like a mid, right? From my understanding. Yeah. So, okay, back to this. So this is our understanding for Wakantanka. So my understanding for this energy is something that lives within and all around. We never had the understanding of here or there. It's everywhere. It's in all things. In Washichu, they would say omnipotent or omni, like present. So it's like all over. So the Creator lives within me, it lives within you, it lives with so. But most of you say, no, it just lives in me. Mishnana, Mishnana mawaka. I'm the only sacred one, right? But no, we have the understanding it lives in everything. So everything is considered wakan in a sense. And so this is a very important word. Now, it raises a real important issue that I like to sit here and talk with the elders with, and I'm sure I think we have elders out there as well that are listening out there in the world. I've heard recently, within the last few years, see, like where I got my understanding is from the old songs. So some of these songs, they said, are over 500 years old. This particular song is sung at the Sundance. And it talks about, it said, Ushimada, Ushimada, Ushimada. And so when I listen to those words, it gives me an understanding of how our grandfathers used to pray, like when they're praying. And so, one thing that I realized is our grandmothers and grandfathers prayed for themselves, because this is literally what it's like, Unshimada, take pity on me, when you say it with a command. If you're talking to one person, Unshimadawo, Unshimadapo. If you're talking to two, and then for the ladies, Unshimadapi. Yeah. If she's talking to two or more people or beings or a creator, or if she's talking to one, Unshimadaye. Unshimadaye. And Unka Azi was talking about sometimes in this, if you go to Inipi or something, or if you go pray, sometimes this is a prayer right here. Wakantanka Unshimadao. But in this song, in this prayer song, this man, it was a man praying, and he's praying for himself, which kind of dispels a myth where our grandfathers, our old people never prayed for themselves. They always prayed for everybody. They never pray for themselves. I hear that all the time. Yet, when you listen to the old songs, they were praying for themselves. It wasn't like unshiwi chaki dapo, or it wasn't, pray for them or take care of them or help them, which gave me an idea that our grandpas and grandmas took responsibility for themselves. Like, it's my duty to pray for myself because, I have to. I'm the one that I know what's going on in my mind, my heart, my body, my soul. Can I get a hechitu to that, or a hechitu shni? Ho hechitu. Yeah. Ho. Yeah. So that's this right here is a good understanding. So for many of you out there that are on your healing journey, you're asking in a sense for compassion, but it's this word right here that's really important. That she. Because that's where we get most of our relation words, and we talked about that before. Ku, she, taha, she for cousin, ichepa, she. So like you can get idea that this word here signifies some kind of like a relation, connection. But in the old days, Your family is where you get your peace and your harmony from. They're the one. That's where you get it from. I talked to Unka about your grandpas and your grandmas way before us. You know what did they want? And then they Dakota. He said so peace and harmony, with one another. So that's like compassion and like all of that. That's one of the things that our grandfathers desired more than anything. They didn't want so much, just that feeling of unshida, to have compassion. That's the base word, unshida, to be in a state of compassion within yourself. And so when you're having a hard time, when you're having a hard life, that's what you're looking for. When you're struggling, this word right here, you'll hear a lot too. Kakije. Kakije would be the word for what many of us are going through. Like, geez, Randall the other day, he was just like, I just kind of woke up. I was just feeling grouchy, I was feeling frustrated with stuff. He's kind of having a rough day. You would say that's kind of like a kakije, almost like a suffering, like an inner turmoil or a hardship, Wo kakije. And so I would say that you'd see a lot of that in our community. Wo kakije. A lot of people are suffering in a sense, and who's it's sad, but it's a lot of ourselves. We create our own suffering. And our grandpas knew that. It's like I suffer. I suffer a lot. So you'd hear that. So in order to tell the Creator this, makakije. Kind of like you're saying, I'm having a difficult time. There was another word for iotiewakie. Iotiewakie. I remember hearing that as well. I'd like to talk about that word in a little bit. It's more of a difficult time, right? Or a difficulty, but we'll talk about that in a little. Yeah. Makakije. So these are words you'll hear in the songs, because quite often that's the person that's praying will describe what's happening a little bit as if the Creator doesn't know, but we still do it anyways. We still describe what we're seeing. Yeah. So you you might say that, like you'll hear somebody say that oyatiki, the people, kakijapi. They're having a difficult time. You'll hear that a lot. They're describing. There'll be a sentence right here where it says, so and so, such a group. It's this right here. This P at the end represents it's a group of people, right? We talked about that in our conjugations. Kakijapi. I don't know if you guys hear that on the thing. Are you busy? Yeah, yes, I'm pretty busy. Kakijapi. And so right here we would say oyatiki. The people. And which ones? De, this one, or he, that one? That's up to you to describe. Our grandpas would often pray for different people. Wahoo. Kind of like a leg. Topa. That's your way of praying for the animals, eh? Wahoo topa. I used to hear that a lot. It's one of the few races I think that make sure to they don't just think of the human being when they're in their prayer. They pray for the chupahu, wahoo topa oyate, you know. Wama kashkan. Wama kashkan is the other one. Wama kashkan. I can write that. If these are all words that you'd hear at ceremonies and traditional gatherings, especially if they really know their culture, you'd hear it like this way. This word right here, maka, would be the earth. Wamaka, it's almost like they're actively moving upon the earth. Like there's life happening here on this one. Wamakashkan. And Wahutopa would be that, of course, this is the number 4. You'd even hear Wahunupa. Instead of maybe calling him the people, they call it Wahunupa. Nupa. Or Numpa. I don't know how you want to spell it. It's up to you. Numpa. Wahoo Nupa. That's us, the two-leggeds, and the bear. The bear was the Wahoo Nupa as well. We have snow on the ground, so we can tell a little bit of story. The bear was one of the animals that saved the human beings because at one time, all the animals were going to kill the humans. So every time a deer saw you, he would have attacked. Or if a snake saw you, they'll just attack everything. They were going to be programmed to attack the humans. But the bear was part of the human family, the Wahunupa, the two-leggeds. And so because he was a relative of ours, he saved us, in a sense. There's a story of that you could hear, all these stories. And it'd be real cool now, that we could share those hotunka kapi. And one thing that'll be cool is to share a real short hotunka kapi. One of the shortest ones that we know, an Uktomi story. One that's maybe not even just a few minutes, and then we could interpret it, translate it. That's fun to do that later on. But so these are, the other one was the chupahu, would be the wing. Chupahu. Now Randall is going to say, let's go eat some chupahus in town. Some wings. Chu. This is the only part that has the guttural part. Chu ba hu. The PB on this one. Pa ba. Chupahu. Chupahu. Wingeds. Yeah. Just remember that. Gonna go eat some chupa at Brandon. Some wings. Yeah. Chupahu kata. Hot wings. Yeah. Chupahu kata. Yeah. We're gonna succeed with what we're doing. And so one of the things that I think is gonna happen in Sioux Valley is once the language is back 100%, the laughter is gonna go up at least 60% in the community, because that's one of the things that I realized. It's so funny hearing it in Dakota, and I never really got it when I was young. You hear everybody laughing, but now that I'm understanding the language, because it's so descriptive, it puts like a cartoon in your head or something when you hear it in Dakota. The descriptiveness that's there, it's really funny. And so these are some main words that makakije. Makakije is I'm having a hard time. Makakija is I had a hard time telling a story of it in a sense. Hopefully many of us we could what when so there's a story behind it, even just wakantaka unshi madao makaki jero makaki je makaki je. But you'll notice I'm not saying on here uh on this word makaki je. It's kind of like a G here again. Hey makaki je. And even on that word kije there too, that part kije ki, that's a G there, and a G makakije. I'm having a difficult. Even if you're in your family, you're talking amongst your family. You could, oh man, I'm having a hard time, makakijiro. I'm having a difficult time here. You could tell them that when maybe you're outside working and nobody's helping you. And it's just raining outside and you're just struggling and you go inside, everybody's watching YouTube and chilling out. And, hey, makaki shiro, I'm suffering outside. Ushimada or ushimada po, like take compassion on me, help me out here, Yeah. You're out there shoveling like we're going to be doing that. You know what? I was thinking at Walmart, I should buy a shovel. And then I didn't even get it. They say you've always listened to your gut, right? But I didn't get a shovel. And so these words here are very, in my opinion, are real important. And I think Ozzy and Tui, I think if a lot of our people figure out how to pray, man, that'll make me want to go to ceremonies real quick. Like, oh man, I can't wait to go because I get a chance to pray. And that's one good thing with Wakantanka. Wakantanka is not going to say, oh, you made a mistake there on that prayer. Because Creator's also not just listening to the words, but also what's in your chante, what's in your heart, right? What your sincerity, and hopefully if you can pray like this, pray with sincerity always, take compassion or give me the feeling, to be in a compassionate, peaceful family place. Like what we're all looking for, really. We're looking for that, even when we say, oh, we want to go party it out, well, that's a feeling of family you're looking for right there on that one, right? To be able to just share things and, dance together and laugh together and, so that feeling of all of that, that's really what you're asking for. Is you're looking for that. But I would say the strongest word that we can use it, though, in English would be compassion. To have a passion, a passion for your company, I guess you could say. A passion, like I have a passion for how you feel, how you, all of that. Compassion. So, Wakantanka, is that, oh yeah, by the way, make your nose, on that one. Shimada. Wakantanka, shimada. Wakantanka, shimada. Wakantanka, shimada wo. Shimada wo. Shimada wo. We understand that there's one Wakantanka, but many in all places. So usually you would hear it like that. Ushimadawo. Ushimadawo. Like that. Not too often, some might say, well, if Creator is all over, I could say it like that. You could have an argument like that. I wouldn't argue against that. But to the understanding, there's a singular Wakan, a Wakan that lives in all things. And so that's why it's a singular. So we'd say Ushimadawo. But that singular is in you, and it's in you, and it's in you, and it's in everybody. So it's not exactly single as well. It's all over. It's a mystery. It's a mystery, right? That's why it's a mystery. And I think people can sit around and have conversations around this for days because it's a mystery. It really is a powerful mystery. But to us, we feel it. We don't have to ask if it's there. We feel it. We know it's there. Wakan. Daku wakan. Yeah. Ooh. Something sacred. Daku wakan. Daku wakan. I hear this word a lot in prayer. Deched. Deched. This way. And I really think because our grandfathers always wanted to show you things versus tell you things. I'm going to spell like that. You could spell it like this. Echamu. Deched echamu. Deched echamu. I do it this way. Now, I could share this word because you could share this. You could use this in your daily living too. Deched echamu. I do it this way. This is how I do it. Deched echamu. Deched echamu. I do it this way. I do it this way. Deched echamu. So like a lot of guys when they go in the inipi or a lot of the kunshis, the grandmas, when they go, they will say, Deched echamu. This is how I do it. They say it like that in the lodge. You know, our they say 95, or I don't know what the number is, of our vocabulary is nonverbal. Like we show it through our actions. So you would even hear Deched echu. Deched echu. Do it this way. Deched echu. Deched echu. Like that. Echu. We could go into the conjugations on this word right here. Maybe now or later. I don't know. But echu. Echu. But waechu. Waechu is another one. But in this particular song here, this is how they talk about it. But you know how in Dakota it's well, I would say English is backwards, but there's a word. And Unka and I had a good talk about this word here the other day, and I'd like to explain a little bit. This word right here, wani, to live. Wanikta. This is that word that we talked about for kte or kta, but wanikte if it was at the end of a sentence, but we're not done yet. Wanikta, I shall live, or something that shall happen. And then so we had this word cha. It's a word for when, but if frequency was the topic, because this word here comes from another word. I'm going to write it up here, eche. Or eche or echa. Eche or echa. Eche. There's a lot of times hechupi hechu eche. They did it that way all the time. Hechu eche. 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 And so it's another words where it's always or frequently, right? Always or like numerous times, right? And so in this sense, it's a word, you could use this word for when. It is the word for when, but something that frequently happens. And so wanikta cha, when I frequently live this way, deched echamu. This is how I do it. Deched. We'll put that. Echamu. So yeah. Wanikta cha, when I want to live, when I shall live, when I shall, this is the I part, wani, I shall live, when I shall live, deched echamu, I do it this way, deched, this way, deched, this way, deched. Heched, it would be that way, heched. But it's like, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. That's deched echamu. You know, Actually, that's one of my language hacks too. I think of, geez, this is how I do it. What's popular in Moshichu modern world? There's a song. This is how we do it. That's a song. That's the Dechere Chamu song. Just Dechere Chamu. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. Dechere Chamu. Would it be all right if I just sang it? It's okay, Kushi, yeah. A lot of people say you should only sing that song, but maybe I won't sing the whole song, just the word part. Okay, yeah. But so we can break this whole song down now. All what we learned. Ushi ma da. In this song, I've noticed it's always sung in the female. You notice it's sung in the female? I don't know if it was a female that made it. But if you listen to the old songs, it's always sung in the female way. I don't know if it pays homage to the Saksanicha. Buffalo cake makes sense? Yeah. Yeah, both genders can say that, yeah. Wanikta cha, when. So that word yau cha iomakpi, like that. When you frequently come, yau cha iom, I'm happy, iomakpi, I'm happy. Yau cha, so that's where another way you could use that word cha. Yau cha. There's another word that I always got it mixed up with, was the word kiha. Yau kiha iomakpi, If you come, that's another word you could say if or when you come, like that. But specifically, this is a word here, cha. Cha is when something of a frequent nature happens. So wanikta cha, when I shall live, when live I shall. You could put that together, because this live shall when. Yeah, okay. So, Oni oaki when I go low like that. Can't breathe. But, okay. So, this is, Unka always, when I was first learning, he said, don't just sing those songs. Learn what they mean and learn how to say it. That was the best advice that he gave me. So, like, when I go to sing asked to sing these songs at a Sundance or somewhere, we don't just go ahead and just sing it not knowing what I'm saying. Because you'd want to have meaning with every word that you're saying. You'd want to feel it, right? You'd really want to feel it. And so that's why for myself, these are the first words that I learned. I guess you could say if you decide that you want to learn your language, this is the spiritual language, the sacred language. You could learn that first. And that's a good way to start as well. So, Wakan tanka. Shi ma da ye. Wakantanka unshi ma da ye. Wakantanka unshi ma da ye. Wakantanka unshi ma da ye. Unshi ma da ye. Wakan. This part right here too is there's a certain sound, kan. I know Dakota would say kan. They want to put the guttural in there, lots of gutturals, and down there they have a lot of that, kan. They'll say, but up here it's not so hard on the gutturals on here. It's just ka. Or you could put a little guttural in there. Sometimes I hear gutturals, but it's maza wa ka, 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 wa ka, wa ka. And here's that sound again. Ta, ka, ta, ta, ka, tanka, wa ka, tanka, wa ka, tanka, wa ka, tanka. Here's that. So our nose vibrates on that. Shi ma da ye. Shi ma da ye. Wa ka tanka shi ma da ye. And you hear the song and the feeling of how that sounds. Wa ka tanka shi ma da ye. Shi ma da ye. That's cool. Wa ka tanka shi ma da ye. Wanikta cha, wanikta cha, deched echamu. When I want to live, this is the way I do it. I do it this way. Wakatanka u shima da ye, wanikta cha de. Now you'll notice in songs, they'll shorten it for the sake of the beat, because our beats go in twos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Not 1, 2, 1, not like that, but a little bit after, hey? 1, 2, a lot of our beats. So you'll notice our songs are in syllables of 2. Wa, ka, ta, ga, she, ma, da, ye. Or you'll drag it. Ye. Wani kta cha de cha. So that's why you'll notice in this song, you'll hear it saying de cha mu. You'll hear it shortened it. You shortened it. But that's for the sake of the song. And so this is the correct longer way of saying it, but you'll hear it de cha mu. Can you hear it? It could be said that way too, right? Yeah. And so yeah, and so the could do like this. So in an everyday setting, we could say it like that, just to shorten it up, make it quick. De chamu, de chamu, de chamu. Yeah, I do this. Yeah, I do this. Yeah, that's what this one is. I do this. I do this. I do this. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then this is the one. This is how I do it, and then I do this. So the song says I do this. All right. Let's Yeah. 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 So this song here, so this is the origin, I guess you could say, of where this song comes from. And so we could say, wa ka ta ka. We're gonna do it real slow. Because it sounds real funny. I sound real funny. But wa ka ta ka o she ma da ye wa ni kta cha de chamo, hey ha. Then there's a straight part to it. Yeah. So, yeah. So, but see, like again, once you learn that song, once you get that song down, and figure it out, then later on now you can go back and start saying it. Wa kantanka ushi madaye, wa nikta cha. Deche de chamu, or de chamu. I do this. De chamu. Yeah, 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 yeah. It turns into outright one of the very first prayers now that you know now. And so I imagine now people would say, oh, geez, there's Sundance recordings all over. And so that's one way you could do that is learn through song. And slowly as you're going along, And actually, Unka Ozzy and I here are going to be working on another song here that I'm hoping would be kind of like our Dakota language theme song for our program, here in the near future. So with that, maybe we'll take a little break. We'll go check on the roads here, see how we're doing, and then yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, huh. Our storm is getting a little bit too much, and almost got. Yeah, yeah. Looks like that particular song that we brought up there, you could probably find it in different places, even recordings out there already. And I'm it kind of brings up a little bit of a topic of like, is it okay to record those? Is it not okay to record those? And geez, I don't know how many recordings I found of our grandpas here in Sioux Valley that recorded for preservation for us today. There's so many. So I believe that our grandfathers weren't totally against it. But I do feel that, however, there's an ability to exploit it, to profit off it, to make money off it, or to gatekeep. Gatekeep where like I know all the songs, and meanwhile I got a whole mess of tapes behind me, but I'm not sharing it with anybody. I think that might be wrong in a sense. Um, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Ukapa. Yeah. 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 Then. Yeah. So there's stories of our grandpas. They kind of, in a sense, they had the ability to kind of predict what was coming. And I know for myself, like when there's certain songs that we learned because we sang it 100 times at there, and so you learn it on site and then you learn it there. But not everybody has the frequency of those ceremonies are not as strong, and I think there's a lot of young men that might feel uncomfortable in a lot of settings, and so maybe they might want to learn at home, and so I think that's why maybe our grandpas and our grandmas made those recordings. And the earliest recording that I heard from was there was um, Francis Densmore recordings, and I have some of those recordings as well, and it'll be fun to kind of maybe break down those songs on there as well one day. Prayer, yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. 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 So chante washte you ha cheki apo. You pray with your heart. All with pray with your heart, and so. Uh, oh, huh. I guess we'll finish there. The storm is getting really bad, and so we're gonna kind of end a little bit more short here today. Um, I thought we were canceled. I ended up being a little bit late, so that's my apologies on that one. And so, but we'll continue on here. Ake, daiupo, mitake, be well, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. We showed in here in that song, our grandpas took care of themselves through prayer. Unshimandawo, look after, give me compassion, right? Give me compassion. Put your hand up and talk to the creator within your heart. It's everywhere. Hey, so that was the teaching here that we had. So with that, have a good evening. Have sleep well tonight, mitakepi. Oh.